What's up? Well, as you can see, this doesn't exactly look like the crash site. And there's a good reason for that. It's that's not the crash site. This is. So, I have been more or less offline for a few days. I haven't had a voice. And I really wanted to get something recorded, so I'm recording maybe a little bit earlier than I should, but in that time I had nothing else to do, so we did some stuff. So let's start on over here with our solar array. This is using up most of the solar components I have. I could make I just had a great idea. I could make 2 more solar panels, and in fact I might, and stick those on here. But this is using Midspace's experimental solar trackers. See, one of them's there. These directly control the pistons that they are named to. That you name it a certain way, basically telling it which rotor to control. And then it always faces the rotors to the sun. So, there's the sun. There's our solar panels. Maximum efficiency. In fact, the way I had them laid out on the crash was not very good. Over here is a programmable block. Programmable. This is running the inventory manager scripts. Around the back here we have our hydrogen tank, our oxygen tank, and our... I'm going to call it a gas generator, because it generates hydrogen too. Back along this side we have our assembler. And over here we have our bank of batteries, and we'll get to this thing in a minute. But I have the inventory manager set up such that it always keeps some extra resources loaded for me. So I've got oxygen bottles and hydrogen bottles down here, and in fact I'm short an oxygen bottle, so if I take one, it's going to put one back. And it's, okay, I've got one that's now at partial. No, let me get rid of that first. So this hydrogen bottle needs to be refilled. It sucks it out to refill it, and then I just take the next one down, and it gets replaced with a full one. I like it! This also keeps one of each of my tools up here, although, the elite welder keeps one of each of those, the proficient welder one of each of those, blah, 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 blah. I've ground down the extras. Hand drills, I didn't have many extras, so haven't done much in the way of that. And then it also keeps 20... I set it to ammo magazine. Apparently this thing is counted as ammo magazine. Just the way the game is done. Now you're probably wondering about this thing up here. This is effectively the ship that I tore down, but without any guns on it, which I was just now realizing. This is the Banshee Mark 1. This is primarily a recon ship. I do have a nose-mounted Gatling gun. This tiny turret you see down here is actually a target designator. So if I hop in and grab control of that, it's a turret-based thing, but you can't actually fire anything with it. So it's basically just for easily looking at something. One of the cool things I did include in here, and I need to turn this on to see, is I have little doors on the side that open up to give you access to the cargo container. I thought that was particularly cool. This is using the plane parts mod, I had to think of the name correctly there, to provide us with the wing blocks. It is using, I think they're azimuth engines, but the atmospheric engines. These ones here actually don't. They produce thrust, but no damage, so they don't produce hot thrust. The ones at the back, I'm pretty sure do. I just picked them because they looked cool. You might see this thing shimmying and shaking over here, and that's just an effect of the controls on it. It seems okay for the most part. And then I've got some smaller thrusters for the navigational stuff. And this up here would be an antenna. So yeah. We actually have landing gear. I started playing around with the landing gear. And I found out that this landing gear works really well. And the actual landing gear rotors work about as well as rotors do right about now. So, not great. But anyway, we today, I think what we're going to do is maybe get a closer look at that weapons research platform. This right here would tell you that I do have weapons loaded. In fact, I believe this is from the MWI weapons collection. Ooh, shiny, I never even noticed that. That lens is really impressive looking, actually. And while there are rocket-based weapons that I have access to, since I have not unlocked it in the game, I refuse to use them just yet. And the weapons research place, which, nope, there it is. Secret weapons research facility. I very highly suspect that what we're going to find there is going to be rocket technology. I already did some recon of the area, including a couple of bases I passed on the way out there. And I don't have my slide projector anymore. I tore that down and used the parts to make that landing wheel right there. That it goes. Every time you want to move forward, you push the button, it goes click, you move forward a bit, click, you move forward a bit, click, you get the idea. So, I am going to actually have to edit in the shots and talk about them, which I will do right now. Alright, listen up, we're only going to go over this once. Our first image here appears to be the G-Corp base. They seem to have several missile turrets on both the top and the sides. We did not get close enough to the base for it to engage, so we do not know their defensive capabilities. Keeping our distance is highly recommended. The base is surrounded by several satellite defense locations. They appear to be armed with advanced tracking and turret capabilities. Also in the area is a G-Corp airbase, again recommended to avoid. Several missile and Gatling turrets defend this location, and likely will be sending and receiving transports. Now then, en route to the research facility, we have detected another one of the MRE medical stations. This will be worth investigation. Near the G-Corp base, we observed a large crater that appeared to contain a crashed ship of some sort. This may also be worth investigating. The identifying marks seem to indicate that this is a G-Corp vessel, so discretion is advised. Finally, onto the research facility. Aerial reconnaissance has yielded very little other than a small building with no apparent defenses. Recommended for a ground-based recon team to approach and assess. Right, y'all have your orders now. Wheels up, good hunting. Ow! Oh, god damn it. Can I get the timing right on anything? Well, whatever. It's about time that I remember that I'm probably going to want some stuff. Alright. I'm probably going to drop off the drill. The welder and the grinder are always handy to have. I'm going to grab the rifle and the ammo. The drill could be... You know what? I'm going to grab the drill. Because now that I think about it, that seems like something that's probably useful to have. And of course, I have to get everything into the exact right order here. Okay, so we've got pickaxe, shovel, sword, and, well, torch, but bow. Oh, and it refilled my ammo already. Isn't that nice? I love this. Okay, let's get going. Alright, our engines appear to already be spooled up. Something I realized that when you connect to a connector, it stops your engines from just thrusting nonstop. And your power does pretty okay. That being said, let me grab battery bank and make sure it's... Okay, good. If that was set to recharge and I disconnected, that would have gone bad. We do not have very much stored power. I'm not a fan of that. But hopefully we'll build some up. I had originally built a cryopod, stuffed my shiny metal ass in there, and then went to take a nap, or as much of a nap as I could take. When I'm not talking, I'm coughing pretty much non-stop. The talking kind of distracts me from it. And I came back to find that not only had the game crashed, but my computer had rebooted. And the reason I think those are related is when I loaded up that save, which I thankfully named something else on the off chance that something exploded while I was sleeping. When I loaded that save up, it got into the game. It got into the game, said it was initializing the script, like I could see myself, I could move around, and Space Engineers crashed. So I don't know what happened in that one, but it wasn't good. Oh, you know... Is this before or after I took a stop by the... I can't even tell. So one of the effects of now having actual gas tanks is when they get filled up, I don't see that. It doesn't look like they have been. So after creating that save, I actually went and mined some ice. Oops. Oh well. Let us be off then. We're pushing the quick load button because that was bull. Alright, we're flying again. That is the second time lately that I have just lost thrust entirely, and I don't know what's causing it. Last time I was at a much higher elevation, and I seem to recall that I fixed it by toggling the dampeners off and then on again. Although I'm kind of interested to try this now and see if I can replicate that and see what happens. So if we let go of thrust, and pretty rapidly, yeah, but no, when I hit 40 and we start moving again. Yep, there we go. And we're taking fire, which is not good. There, yeah, for some reason, although I'm thrusting forward, the engines just don't respond. And in fact, toggling any of that didn't fix it that time. So I have zero clue what causes that. Although I do know what kind of turrets those are, apparently, because no rockets came flying at my ass. Unless you have to be closer for the rockets, but I don't feel like that's the case. I wonder if it's not the modded engines that I have in here. These jet engines obviously are different from the other engines I'm using, and I'm wondering if they might have been from a different mod. I couldn't tell which mod gave me the blades, so I just threw on all of the atmospheric mods I had. And then I found, oh, shiny looking jets, let's try those out. That answers that question, I'd say. We're just going to yaw our way over there. Curious what the cutoff point is there. Okay, I found it. That cutoff point seems to be about 20 to 30 meters a second. I think what I might do is try replacing those engines with the stock ones and see what happens. Now that I think about it, I do have a mod on for the regular atmospheric engines, which I actually could get rid of at this point, because it was before they'd completed the models. All it did was change the looks of them. Or so I thought. Now I'm starting to wonder if maybe it's affecting the behavior of them. Now, this is an interesting looking place. A windmill. For reasons. There's this thing with a solar panel on it. which isn't doing a whole hell of a lot. Okay, well, nothing in there. Got some parts we can take, and I'll gladly do that. Oh my god. Well, that's kind of pointless. Let's see what all we have. Mars Research Expedition. So this one isn't even like the same company. We have a patient with serious radiation burns. Please see to him as soon as you can.
Don't worry, doctor. I fix. No. I'm a cop, you idiot.
So I guess we've got our new checkpoint. Yeah, because that's all the rest of them. Oh, I guess I can. I had enough. Go figure. Yeah, I'll leave that at Center 2. I'll know what that means. Well, we have our respawn point now. Dr. GTL Fora? GTL Fora? And Nurse Rexar. Rexar I've heard of. This one I'm having trouble getting my head around. GTL Fora. Oh, anyway. Let's get on back to task. You know what? I think I am going to do those engine modifications while I'm here. Start with, we can do that. Fact, I can get rid of that. I shouldn't need the hydrogen for the moment, so we'll come down to this. I'm going to start with just one of these engines and see what happens. I didn't think I could hold all this at once. Free up. Yep. Freed up the majority of the room in my inventory. So, you can see what it takes to control this thing, and that's not even the total of them. First time I've opened the G menu since relaunching the game, so it takes a while. Alright. That's the way to do it. Now, if I'm standing right behind this thing when it finishes welding up, is it going to blast me in the face? Let's stand slightly off to the side just to be sure. Alright. Did I? Oh yeah, that close. Just weird. It sounded weird. That engine's a lot smaller, isn't it? I'll be curious to see what the difference in thrust is. Alright, let's start by turning on our engines. Then I need thrust. Large thruster forward. Save. Alright. Previously, my top speed was about 131. So now it's less. God. thing just like has a stupid amount of drag to it. It'll come to a stop. Or maybe that's because I had the engines on that make it come to a stop. Shut up. Alright, seems like about a good place to set down.